We look at investment real estate through a different lens, through the lens of failure. This is not HGTV. Things don't always magically work out. Failure is gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, but most importantly, an amazing teacher. We have failed more than most have tried, but because of our failure, we have succeeded. These are the stories that have turned average real estate investors into the battle-tested superstars that they are today. Welcome to The Flipping Reality. Hello everybody, Brian and Nico here with another episode of The Flipping Reality.
Today we're talking about the fire.
The firehouse. So here's the situation. We have done almost 300 houses and we have never had this happen. And by this, I mean we were 2 days away from handing the keys of a completed house over to a family that sold their house in Chicago, was getting ready to hop into a moving truck, probably had all their stuff in boxes, ready to go. And this was a Wednesday, getting ready to hop over on a Friday to move their entire family
into their brand new
house. And Nick, how would you describe this house?
It was, past tense, was beautiful. We worked on it for 7, 8, 9 months, something like that. Got it across the finish line. We restored a lot of the character in the home, added character back into it, finished it, made it beautiful. We were all proud of it. Crew was, listed it, got a really good offer.
Yep, 2 days away, and then we find out that the second floor caught fire and went up and took out the entire third floor. Second floor annihilated, third floor annihilated, roof annihilated,
water everywhere. It was a sad day.
So we describe this as like the death of a house. We've never experienced this before. We've had water issues before. We've had frozen pipes. We've had all sorts of issues.
Icicles.
This, like the death of a house is the appropriate way to describe it. And we'll kind of take you through what happened and how we reacted and all that type of stuff. But it was gut-wrenching. It was really, really bad. So why don't you take us, like we just talked about, like we bought the house, we worked on it for a bunch of months, we get to the finish line 2 days away, and then you're living your life, and then what happens?
This happened on a Wednesday, and the roads were really, really bad here that day. The weather was terrible.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So we decided we were going to work from home that day, of course, and everything's going great, getting tons of stuff done, and I think it was 150.
Who was over there and why were they there?
So we had a roofer there and our plumber doing last minute minor repairs for the buyer's inspection list. So the roofer we had a flat roof over the front porch, and he had to make some repairs so that when you do the flat roofing, you have to melt it down with a torch.
And so what we've discovered is that he took the blowtorch, and as he was laying out the membrane for the flat roof, he heated it up, and then a part of that is typically what happens is like a flashing. You roll it up the wall. Okay, so now what happens, he took that membrane that he heated up, rolled it up the wall, pulled the vinyl siding out. So now if you're looking at the side of the house, you have vinyl siding, and then at the very bottom, just call it 4 inches or whatever. So you got vinyl siding, then you have the roof membrane up behind the vinyl siding, and then what did we have behind the vinyl siding?
Cedar shake that's been there for probably 100 years.
And cedar shake is basically 100-year-old kindling.
Super dry.
So what happened was the membrane was hot and warm, and then just put it up next to the cedar shake, put the vinyl siding on top of it, thought none the wiser, was finishing up his stuff, actually got off the roof, wasn't on the roof. We think he went inside to use the bathroom, and then you get a call.
Then I get a call, and he doesn't speak a lot of English, but he was screaming, "Fire! Fire! 911!" And I'm like, "What?" So he like this all happens in like 10 seconds. So then he quickly FaceTimes me and shows me smoke coming out of the house. I hang up immediately, call 911. That was at 1:50. I have this timeline like seared into my brain. Call 911, get a hold of. I'm in a different city, so they transfer me to the Detroit dispatcher. Tell them the house is on fire. Tell them the address. Blah blah blah. They send everybody out. So then I hang up. I call Brian. I call the crew that was working down the street. Each of them, three guys, different guys. Nobody answers. Finally, I call Sarah, his wife, and I'm like, I'm texting him and her and the crew all at the same time, like 911. Somebody answer the phone. Um, and so I had Sarah answered, and I said, I need to talk to Brian immediately. 911, house is on fire. House is on fire. I hear you in the background, and you're like, what? What's going on? I'm like, Lemon Lime's on fire. That's what we call the house. And you're like, okay, I'm getting in the truck. Like, I'm in pure panic mode. And he's just like, okay, I'm getting in the truck.
The crazy part about this is that because we decided to stay home that day, I wasn't feeling great. I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? There's nothing going on today. Easy breezy day. I'm gonna take a nap. I don't
Not.
I don't I don't ever like stay home. I don't ever take naps. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap, and I laid down. It was like 1:40. I'm like, let me see if I can get like 30 minutes in and just relax. So then wake up. Sarah comes in. She's like, you gotta talk to Nicole right away. So talk with her. She's like, there's a fire, lemon lime. I'm like, okay, like I'm heading in. So that happens, and I will say, like, Nicole sounds frazzled and all that stuff, but what the reality is of this, we've had emergencies, we've had issues in the past. She handled it wonderfully. The fact you were able to call 911 like as fast as you did was awesome. Two, the fact that you knew the address. How did you know the address there?
I just know them.
I get it, but when you have an emergency like this, your brain is just fried. It doesn't think properly, which we'll come back to that because you just listen to what she just said. We're gonna come back to this. I just know those addresses. Like she knows all of the addresses except maybe one. But we'll come back to that. So then she calls, she dispatches, and she's able to go from her city 911 to the Detroit 911, be able to get the information out there as soon as possible. Um, while this is happening, uh, then I talk with her after she's off the phone with 911. So I'm like, okay, going down. So I hop in my truck, and I'm not a fire department, so I don't need to speed down here. Plus, not to mention, the roads were just garbage that day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just going to take it easy. But I got my phone. So I have my phone. I put it on my truck right here. It's got like a little, just thing like, it's like I'm an Uber driver. I can like look at the phone and see the map, all that stuff. So what I decide to do is I decide to put our indoor cameras on. And so we have cameras on all of our projects. And I have it in the basement, and I have it on the first floor. So I'm like, okay, basement, nothing. First floor, nothing. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is one of those things to where it's a small fire, kind of no big deal. Like it's a big deal, like something caught, um, almost like an electrical fire to where it's like, oh, it just goes up the wall a little bit. We got to fix drywall. I'm always amazed at how well our guys and our team can go through, rip out drywall, put it back in, fix it like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
So then I'm watching, and
we're
then
on the phone.
we're
He's like, everything looks fine. I'm like, okay, but I saw smoke.
Yep. So she's like, I see it. Now I keep looking. I'm like, I don't see anything. So then it's 1:54. So 4 minutes after she calls, I see the fire department pull up, which shout out to those guys. Holy crap, man.
They got there in 4 minutes.
4 minutes. So I see the fire truck pull up, and then I see the guys walking in. I'm like, okay, like maybe this is no big deal. And then I see him walk in with the hose. I'm like, oh god. And if you've ever dealt with fire before, which we really haven't, but because we're in the space, like I've talked to a bunch of people and all that type of stuff, the biggest problem is the water.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all a problem. The fire is an issue. The smoke gets everywhere, and then the water is just thousands of gallons of water to pour everything out. So I see them dragging the hose upstairs, and I'm like, ah, shit. This one
He's
actually
just
is not
like,
good.
oh no, they're taking in a hose. And I'm like, oh no.
Not the type of hose I like to see, if you know what I mean.
Oh god.
Just kidding.
We're not cutting that one out.
So the wrong type of hose go into the house, and so it's like, okay. So then I'm pulling up finally, and I drive past it. Detroit is wonderful, and they've decided to have one-way streets for all sorts of reasons. I don't know why. So I drive past the end cap of our street, and I see fire truck, fire truck, fire truck, fire truck, fire truck. There was like 7 fire trucks. And finally, I park at the corner because you couldn't get through to the street. And I start walking down, and I see a ladder truck. The ladder truck is over our house, and the dude is just pouring water into the house. Windows are missing.
They're putting holes in the roof.
Axed a bunch of holes in there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So you walk up. The front of the house is missing of the second floor. So above the porch roof where the work was being done was missing. Severe fire damage there. And then you could see, smoke coming out the top. Now, when I got there, I'm like, I don't know, probably 40 minutes away. I think I got there in about 40 minutes because it was icy. The fire had basically been put out.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at everything and like, oh my god, this is bad. And then at some point, Nicole and her husband Rob, you guys showed up maybe 15, 20 minutes after I got there.
Yeah.
And what was your thought?
Holy shit. Shock. I don't know. I was just completely in shock because it didn't seem real. At some point, the roofer had FaceTimed me and showed me after the fire trucks were there and everything, showed me the front of the house. So he FaceTimed me, the roofer FaceTimed me, and that's when it really hit home for me because he was standing far back from the house and I could see just the third level full of flames. And the third level was fully finished. Like, we fully finished that. So it was just full of flames. And then a few minutes later, I got there and I just was like in awe. There is probably 30, would you say 30 firefighters there?
There was way more than I ever expected.
I think there were several departments there and so many people just everywhere. And I was just like, and then the guy, I think he was the chief or something, came up to me and was like asking me questions for my information. And I froze.
Did you?
I froze.
How did
Hey, I held it together during the important part.
How did you? You remember all the addresses. I remember the chief asked you a question, an easy one, which was, what is your address? And what was your response?
I could not think of it for the life of me. Like, I knew it started with a 1. I know my street name, but I couldn't think of the numbers. But if you ask me the 30 addresses in Island View that we've have been a part of or flipped, I could tell you every single address.
You could not.
I couldn't think of
You
my
couldn't
own
get
address.
it. So Rob, her husband, is next to her, and she's like, Rob, what's our address? And he's sitting there talking. He knew somebody from the fire department, so he's sitting there talking and talking. She's like, what's our address? She's just like thinking and thinking. And then at some point, I don't remember who actually answered the question, him or you.
He did.
Yeah, I don't think it was you. So I look over at you, and I don't know how many people out there watch The Handmaid's Tale, but June Osborne, she's the main character, and she has gone through absolute ungodly amount of like stress in her life, like just a crazy amount. And she's got this like dead look in her eyes. Like there's like nothing behind it. Her face is pale and just dead eyes. I look over at Nico and I thought I was looking at June Osborne. Like just look, she was looking at the house like, oh my God, like my house died.
Mm-hmm. That's how I felt.
It really did.
Felt like the house died. The house that, you pour your heart and soul into. And so many people do, not just us.
It's so crazy. So this house, like, it wasn't a total loss. And this is another shout out to the Detroit Fire Department. They got there so fast and they acted so quickly. It's literally the only reason why the house is standing today. It's the only reason why the house exists today, because they got there fast. And from 911 dispatcher from one city to another to the firehouse, we saw the fire report the other day.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. They have everything time stamped.
The timing of everything was just incredible.
So for them to show up in 4 minutes, like think about this, 4 minutes on a nasty day that they were at our house. And I think they were like in 7 minutes, they had like water deployed and all that type of stuff. Like it was crazy. Like tremendous shout out to the Detroit Fire Department. Save the house.
Yeah.
Save the house. So they're almost done and water's pouring out everywhere. The front of the house, the side of the house, roof has smoke, all sorts of stuff. And you're just watching this happen. And then they're pulling the hoses in, and then what happens? It sparks back up.
Oh yeah, they got it all out, and they had a firefighter up there on the second story just watching it for. There's a code, but I forget the code name, and he screams out the window.
I forget the code name.
Oops. And he screams the code out the name, or now I'm all messed up. That's how I felt that day. He screams the code out the window, and it signified to everybody, and everybody went back in action, started dragging the hose back into the house. So the fire had reignited at some point, and so they always, I guess, stick behind after they put it out to make sure that doesn't happen, because it seems like it happens often.
Yep.
So it went back up, and they were able to get it right away.
So they do that, then they come down. Keep in mind, we're down there. I think we got down there about 2:30. I think everybody kind of wound up dispersing around like 4:30.
Yeah.
So at some point, they're like, okay, you ready to go inside and take a look at this beauty? We're like, yeah, let's see what this looks like. So we go up the stairs. What's your version of it?
My version is you walk in and there's just a waterfall right in the foyer coming from the ceiling. It's all the water from the third level to the second level to the first level, and I'm like, oh my God. It's literally like a waterfall.
The water was intense. The smoke.
The smell, the water, it was freezing. But I didn't feel cold though.
No. Didn't feel cold there, but the smoke like smelled like campfire.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was bad.
Yeah, so they took us all the way up through the house, and it just, as you went up every level, it just progressively got worse.
So the water was coming out. They had to poke holes in the first floor drywall of the ceiling to make sure that there's nothing behind there. And then the water was pouring out the ceiling of the living room and the ceiling, a little bit of the dining room and a little bit of the kitchen, which is in the back right part of the property. So for us, like, first floor was kind of like it's a lot of water damage, poked holes in the front of the house. Second floor, you go up, and the front of the house has 2 bedrooms, and those 2 bedrooms were toast
completely. Like you could see right outside.
Right outside, charred, fire, water everywhere. Just disgusting. All the staging furniture annihilated.
Yeah, my favorite stuff.
We stage our own houses because we're doing a bunch in this one area. So because of that, we just take it from house to house. And the crazy part is, since we're closing on Friday, the day before we were actually supposed to get all the staging furniture out.
We're like, oh, I can wait a day. The weather was really bad.
Yeah, that was a bad decision, and it's annihilated now.
Some of it is savable. But the weird thing is, the front half of the house, you could tell there's a fire. You go to the back half of the house, where the primary suite is, it looked like nothing happened. Which is good. All the bathrooms were okay. And then we went to the third level, and that's when it got really, really bad. It's completely gone.
It's really bad. I took my wife there recently, and she had watched all the videos, and then when she got up to the third floor, she's like, wow, this is way worse than I thought it would be.
I think when you're there in person, you feel it, see it, smell it. It looks way worse than it does in video.
So you walk up the third floor. So one of the keys for us is that in these Detroit houses that we work on, most of them have unfinished attic, but they're very like livable space attics. So we finish them off. We turn it into a bedroom with a bathroom, or it's just like a utility room that people can go play poker or whatever they want up there. Um, so we finish them off, and it's part of like what we consider our secret sauce. And you go up there, and it was carpeted, drywall, new electrical, new everything, all the stuff. And you walk up there, and it feels like I don't even know how to describe it. It feels worse than when we normally buy them like that.
Yeah, I think because we already finished it.
It was horrific. Holes, multiple holes in the ceiling where they cut the holes in. Where they cut the holes in the ceiling, it creates a chase.
Oh yeah, that's wild.
For the fire. So what happened was the fire went up the front wall of the house, and it got up to the top, like the sill plate or the top plate, and then it shot across the eaves and the soffit, left and right, and then it went back, from the front to the back of the house. But as the firefighters cut these holes in the roof, they do that to be able to make sure that the fire kind of goes up to where the air is, so you don't like lose the structure or that the smoke has a place to exit. Mm-hmm. So what did those chases look like? So
the chases where they put the holes look completely charred. Barbecue. But the one literally right next to it, it looks perfectly fine, like nothing happened. So it's just wild just to see how it all works and what happens. And
it was nuts. So now drywall gone, electrical melted, water dripping everywhere, carpet, complete disaster. Just
it was frozen solid the next day.
Next day was an ice skating rink up there. So it was bad. So we looked at the house, then we go downstairs. There's like, I don't know, 8 inches of water down there. The drain's like having a hard time keeping up. They pump thousands of gallons of water into this house. So then we go outside and you just kind of look at what you're left with, and you realize, regardless, like, you have to redo this house again.
Yeah.
Welcome to a bunch more time. Like, this is, like, it does not matter. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. Doesn't matter whose insurance is paying for it. Doesn't matter any of it.
You got to do it again.
You got to do it again.
The first time you flip a house like this, it's challenging. Takes some grit. And now when you got to do it again, feels even harder.
So keep in mind, this is, I think we're 3 weeks out from when this had happened.
It was the 21st, so yeah, about.
So we're a little bit over 3 weeks now. So, okay, so then 4:30, everybody, fire department, EMS, roofer guy, everybody kind of leaves. Roofer guy was distraught. Like, he was just, like, he felt god awful. It was a mistake. It was an
complete accident, yeah.
That's it. And so we have some learnings that we're gonna talk about. But complete accident. He was pale as a ghost, and he felt horrible. So everybody leaves, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna like sit around and absorb this, because I don't know. Having never done this before, I needed a minute to just think, and like, what is the right next step? And
what did Josh suggest you do?
So then what happened is about 15 minutes into my thinking time, me having like a mini meltdown. It's not even a meltdown though. You're just sitting there, just like absorbing everything, because it's a lot to absorb. Josh, our plumber, comes in. He sees it and he goes, "Okay." He said, "We can do one of two things." He said, "Thing number one," he said, "I got all the remediation equipment in my warehouse. Hop in your truck. I'll hop in my truck. We'll load it all up and we'll go. Thing number two, if you want, I have a bunch of guns. I have a membership to a gun club, and let's go shoot a bunch of guns. And I'm like, holy crap. Now, like, I'm not a gun guy. I didn't grow up with it. Like, I'm not against them or anything like that. I just haven't grown up with that in my life. But I'm like, man, that actually sounded wonderful.
I would have picked that option.
It sounded wonderful to just like unload. But I'm like, no, you know what? Let's do the remediation stuff. And Josh was phenomenal. He literally had all of the stuff. We have stuff, but I don't have it like how he had it set up.
Yeah.
It would have took way too long. So drive out to his storage unit. We got air scrubbers and dehumidifiers and fans,
ionizer,
and generators, ionizers, like all of this stuff. And really what it becomes is like two things. One, the house is buried in water. So you need to get that water out of there as fast as possible so you don't, so mold doesn't become an issue.
Or ice damage.
And the other part is like the power's off in the house. So now you gotta now it's gonna get cold. And keep in mind, at that time it was like -10 degrees, -15 degrees. So you don't have much time before the house turns into a block of ice.
Yeah. Coldest week of the year.
It was. It was really bad. So we got everything set up. Next day, pretty decent. Like the dehues and the fans, like did a pretty decent thing. The big thing for us is that the water was leaking down through the second floor ceiling into the first floor, and the first floor is all hardwoods.
Original hardwood. Although I would have picked option 2 of going to the gun range, I think you made the right decision because the house was pretty dry the next day.
Yeah.
And I think that saved a lot of damage.
So it was massive to be able to get dehues, vents, fans, ionizers for the smoke, all that type of stuff.
As fast as possible.
As fast as possible. So we executed that well. Then the next thing that we did well is we called our electrician immediately. And he was able to go over there and just make sure it was safe for us to turn on the circuit for the furnace.
Yeah.
And so once we got the furnace on, then the house at least was able to, like, the basement and the first floor was able to be warm. The second floor, a little less. Third floor, still crispy up there.
Crispy. But you did a good job. We stuffed the holes with insulation or blankets that got ruined and towels and whatever we could find to try to stop the cold air from getting in, and shut doors and kind of trap the cold rooms so that the rest of the house didn't freeze.
Yep. So now we have heat in the house. We have the water dehumidified, because that's a word.
Dehumidified?
Yes, that is a word.
Okay.
And then it took a few days. I think we went over there on like Tuesday, Wednesday, the following week. And we're like, okay, let's come up with a game plan now. Let's get the guys over here that just finished all the work. So John and Tony met us over there, and
they were just as heartbroken as we were.
Everybody.
Just feel it in the air,
So we come up with a game plan of what to do. Step one, you got to demo. Third floor has to be completely demoed. Down to the studs, all new electrical, all the stuff that we did. Anything drywall, anything carpet, all that has to go. Then then the second floor was like, you got to get rid of all the walls, like on the front of the house. Got to get rid of all the carpet on the second floor, even the carpet that was somewhat untouched in the back of the house. That's all toast.
Smell, yeah.
So we got to get rid of that. The first floor, we got to get rid of all the ceilings. The ceilings are toast because the water got in there. So once that is done, then you go through and you just keep the dehumidifiers kind of cranking and make sure that none of the the joists and the wood and all the stuff, it's all at an acceptable humidity.
Yeah.
So there's that. Then you go to the roof.
Roof, framing. One of the things we wanted to do originally, but it didn't make sense because we were saving the roof. It was fine prior. Is to put a little doghouse over the staircase, because when you came up the stairs to the third level, the ceiling height was pretty low. So now, since we got to rip it all apart, we're going to add that. It's just the right thing to do. It doesn't cost too much more.
No.
You already got to redo everything. So that's the roof. So we'll do demo, roof. We'll have to reapply for the permits because they were all closed out 2 days before this.
Redo permits. Yep. Now we got to do insulation, and then you do drywall, and then
the electrical
before that stuff, and then you start putting it back together. So the areas where we got lucky, one is it was really kept to the front of the house, even though it's a disaster. It managed to really miss all of our bathrooms,
all of them,
and our kitchen, which is wonderful. So just drywall work in those rooms. So that part was good.
Saves a lot of money and material, especially.
Tons. The second thing is because we got the remediation stuff in there, somehow, by the grace of God, our floors did not cup. I feel like if I spill a cup of ice on the hardwood floors, the floors they cup because the moisture. But we did a good job.
Yeah.
And they're flat. They don't feel ridgy. They don't feel out of control, which is good. So it seems like we saved those.
We might have to do a light sand, but for the most part, they're fine.
Yeah, we don't have to get rid of all of that stuff. Yeah. So we lucked out there. And then what else? So now it's like the put back together phase. So we're 3 weeks into this, and we're getting ready to start what's next.
Yeah, we had to wait for the fire report from the fire station. The arson inspector came by to make sure it wasn't done intentionally by somebody. He was a super cool guy. So we got the report back, talked to him.
Yeah, he was really nice. I liked him.
Yeah.
Then we had any type of fire at a house immediately triggers dangerous buildings. So for the city of Detroit, they have a dangerous buildings department. So then they came out, and that was kind of nothing. We reached out to our building inspector, and we just talked with him, and he said, well, just reapply for the permits, and then once you do that, just let them know that there was fire, because that's a different building inspector to come out and handle that stuff. Which is a big bummer, because we like our building inspector, and the other guy, comes up with more challenges, so we got to figure that part out. But we have a good game plan. Anything that's charred has to go. Anything that's left in the house has to be killed and sealed and stained. Yeah. New carpet. We got to see what's going on with the subfloor.
It's really no different than doing a flip, except for charred.
We're doing it at the end all over again.
We like to do things twice.
That part is so frustrating. Mm-hmm. So one of the big learnings, just from talking to people about this, one of the big learnings that I got feedback from other investors that have dealt with this before, almost unanimously, it was do not file an insurance claim. And I kind of thought that would actually make sense to not do it, but I thought it was kind of nuts. And unanimously, they're like, if you're doing a lot of houses, which we are, then what happens is, it's like rising tides raise all ships. Your insurance is going to go up for every single property you do for years and years and years. And now the question is, since you're in the remodel, refix it business, then do you just do it and eat it? And that's what's going to happen. So
I guess it makes sense long term, since we're trying to stay doing this so that the cost doesn't go to every property in the future.
So there's that. What's the other learning that we had?
Have fire extinguishers on the job site, especially when you're working with torches. Really, the roofer should have had that, but now we're going to require it. We're also going to have one at the house at all times, easily accessible.
Yeah, and Nick and I talked about having one in our trucks or in vehicles. Like, wouldn't have mattered in this case, but
no, but generally we're here.
Yeah, for the most part. And I think the big thing is, just being prepared for emergencies. Like, stuff happens. Like, it's funny. Like, stuff happens. Nicole did a really nice job of, like, remembering the address, giving like, acting immediately, not like thinking it was no big deal, and dealt with it. But she was able to do that because we've dealt with a lot of emergencies over the years.
Yeah, you got to act fast. You got to and you got to stay calm, which I'm not that great at. He's great at that.
No, you did a good job.
But I can still act while I'm in.
Yeah, you were worked up, but you did a nice job. You got everything. Everybody dispatched. Everybody, got to where they needed to go.
Yeah. And those are the big learnings.
Those were the big learnings. So, the big thing is like when you're working on these projects, know where your hospitals are. Keep first aid kits on you. People get cut and hurt, and like every now and then you have like a real oopsie that happens.
Yeah.
This one was a fire. We've had it where one of our guys went to throw a porcelain toilet into the dumpster, and he threw it up, and he caught the lip of the. Oh, there's our fire department guy. He caught the lip of the dumpster, and it broke. And when the porcelain broke, it shredded right into his arm.
Was it his main artery?
It was bad, and he was bleeding everywhere, and nobody had any first aid kits or anything like that. So just one of those things to where like stuff does happen.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing one flip or you're doing 100 flips, like stuff does happen. So keep something, on you, so you can at least triage any of these issues.
Yeah. The best part of this fire is that nobody got hurt, because that would have made it a completely different story. Nobody was trapped in the house. He saw it happen before he left. It wasn't too late. The neighbors were fine. Nobody else was impacted. So that I'm grateful for.
Yeah, I mean that really is. I pulled up and I saw an ambulance and I saw a
stretcher.
I'm like, was somebody hurt? They're like, no, everybody's okay.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so that is the story of our Lemon Lime firehouse. And 2 days, we've done almost 300 houses in 2 days before handing the keys over to our buyers that were moving from Chicago to Detroit. The house basically burned. And just so you know, they did in fact back out of the contract. Everybody thought that was the right move for them. Like, yeah. Even us. Like, that's not good juju. You don't want to move into that. They stuck with us for a couple of days, and we told them that we'd fix it and repair it, and they're like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
Can't blame them.
Don't blame them whatsoever. So that is all that we have for today. So just make sure, like, follow, subscribe us on the Flipping Reality.
We'll tell the story of putting it back together.
Oh my gosh.
Take two.
Take two. I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome day, everybody.
Bye.
See you next time.